Just in between sessions, I'm going to talk a little bit more about energy, just another interesting topic, and it's about, sitting in energy. So every time that we go into a restaurant and we sit down, we're sitting into the last person's energy. If we go into a waiting room, whether that's a dentist, a doctor's, a hotel, any kind of waiting area, waiting room, any seated areas, we're sitting into the last person's energy. So sometimes you might start to feel completely different to how you went into that building or that place. So if you're sitting waiting in a doctor's and someone is very anxious and you're going in all positive, everything's going to be fine, you may sit into a very heavy energy, and actually there'll be an imprint of that left in the seat, in the chair. So it's interesting to be mindful of that. And of course, have you ever noted whenever there's a quarrel or anything, an argument or a tense sort of energy in the air, you may be very, very aware of that. Go into someone's house, sit down. When people offload and they come in, they sit at our dining room table or sit in our sitting room and they just offload stuff, well then they leave an imprint of all of that energy as well. So it's just been mindful and aware of energy is everywhere. We're energy and everything is energy. And I was just going to talk to you as well about jewellery. So buying second-hand jewellery, everybody loves to go around vintage shops and places like that, and buying second-hand jewellery, that jewellery still has an imprint of its previous owner. So again, another thing to be aware of and mindful of. Have you ever bought something like that that's second-hand and you either loved it or you didn't? Chances are, if it's a positive energy, that person was happy and positive and vibrant, and if it's not, they may have had a lot of sadness in their life. So you might be able to tell some of the imprints of energy of the previous owners as well around jewellery. And of course, that's how mediums often will ask for a ring or a watch or something belonging to a loved one, because they can tell so much just by tuning in. So energy is held a lot longer in jewellery and in metal and items like that as well. But if we buy second-hand furniture, we're still bringing in energy from another home, another era, other personalities, and you're bringing that into your home. So you are bringing in energy from external to your own energy. Being mindful of that as well. And I was just going to mention as well the likes of Charleville Castle, where they do all of that paranormal stuff. So if any of you are interested in that kind of thing, I know Charleville Castle used to do that. There's Leap Castle. There's all the various haunted places all around Ireland. So Ireland is great for these haunted castles and haunted sites. And I know that they bring all the paranormal equipment and they can actually monitor the changes in frequency and temperature and orbs, and they can record all that stuff. So that's very, very interesting as well. And another topic that brings me on to is porcelain dolls. I don't know if any of you have ever had any porcelain dolls, but if you like them, you're really going to love them. And if you don't, they give me the creeps. I personally don't like them. I'm wondering, has anyone got any experience with that? I mean, the eyes are so intense on the porcelain dolls. And of course, there's so many the horror movies and all of that. They're all about old movies like The Doll's House and all of that kind of energy. So when you think of it, people can use those voodoo dolls to actually create the dark or black magic as well. So yeah, just wondering, has anyone got any takes on any of those things that I've mentioned? And as well, books. When someone is sitting reading a book, any of us sitting reading a book, and then we pass on that book, well, we are passing on that energy and the imprints of all our thoughts, feelings and emotions that came up, and our energy and our well-being and everything into the pages of that book. So when we pass it on, if we were vibrant, healthy, happy and positive and optimistic, we're giving that. If we were not, so be mindful going into libraries and taking out books, or going in again to second-hand stores and taking out books. You might be bringing home a lot more than a book. Okay, so have a lovely day, everyone.